2002 Toyota Tundra, front brake pads and rotor replacement. I'm Brian Essick from How To Automotive. I'm going to walk you through the steps of replacement. To get started, we're going to get the vehicle racked up. If you're doing this at home, use floor jacks and jack stands and remove the front wheels. Before we actually remove the wheels, the first step I'm going to do is suck about 2 ounces of brake fluid out of the master cylinder. And I'll explain that in a few seconds why we're doing that. So we're going to remove about 2 ounces, and I use the turkey baster and just kind of suck some out. We're going to be working on the passenger front first. So what I did was turn the wheel to the steering wheel to the right a little bit, and we're going to get this bottom pin and clip out first. So with a flat blade screwdriver, you're going to push the clip through. Like so, and you're going to pull the pin out. Now that the pin is out, now you can take this and put a screwdriver here and flare it and pull it. And same thing on the inner one here, flare it and pull it. Now you're going to take a little punch or screwdriver and you're going to drive this pin. So after tapping with a hammer and a punch on this end, the pin starts to slide out, and you can go ahead and pull the pin all the way out and remove it and pull the clip out and set aside. And it is common for these to, like this car is, we're on California here, and this is kind of like surface rust from being at the beach all the time. But on the East Coast, you may have a lot more rust issue, and it may actually, these pins have been known to stick in there. And that's a different issue. But for right now, you're going to remove the bottom pin. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take 2 long pry bars like this, and we're going to put it in between the brake pads, and we're going to spread these pads back into, we're going to push the pistons back into the bores of the caliper. And that's the reason why we removed a couple ounces of brake fluid. So when we press these pistons back in, it's going to push the brake fluid back up in the line and into the master cylinder. And if we didn't remove some, it'll overflow. We're not going to open any bleeder screws or anything like that. So we're going to start by putting the 2 pry bars in like this. And what we're going to do is we're going to pry the pistons, squeeze them together, and pry the pistons in. And as you can see, the gap is starting to form here. As the gap gets a little larger, then I take the pry bars and put them in between the rotor and the pads, and I keep squeezing them until all 4 pistons are pushed all the way back into the bores, and the brake pads won't go back any further on the left or right side. Now I'm going to go ahead and use my hammer and punch and push this pin out and drive the pin out, and after the pin is out, I'll remove the brake pads itself. Okay, now that the brake pads the pistons are pushed back in the bores, the brake pads have been removed. Next, what we're going to do is remove this 12mm bolt that holds the brake line on. Remove that bolt. So after removing the bolt for the brake line, and it's free like that. Now what we're going to do is remove the bolt here and the bolt here. And to do that, I'm going to use my 17mm socket and my impact gun here, and just remove those 2 nuts, or 2 bolts. Now that the bolts are off the caliper, I'm going to use this little S hook, and I'm going to hook it in here and then hang it on the suspension here. If you don't have one of these, you can use like a tie strap or a piece of rope or anything like that to hang it. You don't want to bend this line. That's what we're trying to accomplish. And now with the caliper hung and out of the way, I'm just going to use a hammer and tap the old rotor off. We're replacing the rotor. Now that you got the rotor off, if there's any surface rust or anything on the hub, I recommend you sand that surface rust off and make it nice and flat and smooth. Now I've reinstalled the replacement rotor, and I used the lug nut to hold it in place, and I'm going to use a little brake clean like this and wash the rotor off, because they come with oil that's on it. They come with oil on it, so when they're sitting on the shelf they don't rust. So wash all that oil. So now we're going to take our caliper and put it back onto the bracket here and start the 2 nuts. Start the bolts on the back of the caliper. I'm going to put a little bit of blue thread locker on the threads, and this is the brand we use here at How To Automotive. It's Permanex. It's like a little glue that you would put on the threads, and it helps prevent the bolts from backing out. So I recommend that you use that. And if you don't have it, it's available on my website at howtoautomotive.com on the tools and product page. So after putting a few dabs of that onto the threads, you're going to start the bolts and tighten them down torque them down to 90 foot-pounds. Now that the brackets or the caliper is bolted back down to 90 foot-pounds, torqued down, you can go ahead and start the the 12mm bolt for the brake line bracket here and reinstall that and tighten it up. So now we're ready to install the brake pads. So you're going to take the brake pads and you're going to put a little bit of grease on the back of them. It's called Seal Glide. It's specially designed grease for brakes. This is the brand here. And this is also available on my website at howtoautomotive.com if you don't have that, on the tools and product page. So put a thin layer on the back of the brake pads, being careful not to get in on the brake pad surface. And then with the tab, so if you look at your brake pads on the back, the one that has the tab on the top like this, it's going to be the inner brake pad. So you'll slide that in like so, and then the outer brake pad will have the tab on the top too. So it'll look like this. So you'll slide that in. Now that the brake pads are installed, you want to take your pins. If their pins are got a lot of rust on them or anything like that, I recommend you either A, clean them with a wire wheel, or B, replace them. So once you got the brake pads through, you're going to take the top pin and slide it in and slide it. You can reach your fingers around back to help adjust the pad in and out, or you can use a needle nose plier on the tip right here, and so you're going to help line up the holes like so. And go ahead and put the pin all the way through on the top. And the same thing, you can reach around the back if you need to adjust the pad in or out. Now that the top pin is in, now you're going to take the lower pin and you're going to put it about a quarter of the way through. Now you're going to take the little clip, it looks like this, and you're going to put it on right here, and then you're going to squeeze it and slide it in like that. So it's going to look like that where it's springing back towards you like that. And these little ears are sitting on top of the brake pads. Now you can go ahead and slide the pin, the bottom pin, all the way through. You may have to use your fingers back here to help line everything up. Now that the pin's all the way through, you can take these, bend it in, and take these little ears and stuff them in the holes right here. You may have to use a little screwdriver to help push them in. And then after it'll look like that, so it'll be in the hole here, and then the little ears are sitting on top of the pads like that. So after that's done, now you're going to take the pin that looks like this, the clip, and you're going to hold it like this where the clip is this way. So you're going to put it in the bottom here first, stab it, and then you're going to kind of, with your finger underneath, kind of bend it a little bit and push it into the top pin. And you can rotate this pin if you need to. And then once you get that in there, you'll just push it, align it up with a hole here on the side, and push it through. Just like that. So you want to make sure the pin is connected here, here, and push through. And now what you're going to do is you duplicate the same process for the opposite side. After that, you're going to put your wheels on and torque them down to 76 foot-pounds, lower the vehicle down, and you're going to pump the brake pedal 5 or 6 times, and that's going to pump all the fluid back into the calipers. And if you did not open any bleeder screws or anything like that, you should not have to bleed the brakes at all. And then you're going to top off your master cylinder. And that'll complete the brake job on a 2002 Toyota Tundra. I'm Brian Esser from How To Automotive. I'd like to thank you guys for watching my videos, encourage you to subscribe, and invite you to head over to the howtoautomotive.com website for more valuable videos like this. Thank you again for watching.